Okay, what's up, guys? So, this video, I always said I was gonna do something like this when I win an award for something, but I'm a very impatient person, so I'm like, let me hurry up and do this video right now. But anyways, I always told my best friend Priscilla. I'm pretty sure you guys know who she is. Priscilla from Four Souls. If you guys haven't, go subscribe to that YouTube channel. By the end of this video, if y'all haven't subscribed to that YouTube channel, then unsubscribe from me, because I'm like, yo, y'all gotta show that same love and same energy like that you do like to me, like to them guys. So show them the same amount of love too. Go subscribe to them. But anyways, so yeah, Priscilla from Four Souls, probably the closest friend that I have. I have other close friends, but I have to say she's like top tier. Like, this is somebody where I'm like, if she were to like call me or text me or whatever, like saying that she needed my help with something, like I'm there. So I'm like, that's somebody where I'm like, not too many people get that treatment, because for the most part I'll be like, oh man, dang, I'm like, I'm kind of in the middle of something right now. Like I can't really do that at the moment. But with her, I'm like, it doesn't matter like what it is, doesn't matter where it's at. I'm like, I'm gonna be there. You just wait it like for a second. But anyways, she'll tell you the time when she messed up her leg. Her and her siblings, they made a video about it. She messed up her leg, and I remember she texted me saying she was at the hospital. And I was hoping that she was gonna follow it up with like, oh, JK, or I'm just playing and stuff, I'm not at the hospital and things. But no, she told me, like, sent me photos and stuff. And I remember I was in the middle of recording videos, and I was getting ready to just stop doing whatever I was doing. I'm like, the videos can wait. I'm like, I don't know what's the current situation right now. So yeah, I was very, very prepared to, and I'm like, I ain't care like what was gonna happen. Like if it came down to where it was like me recording those videos was like, those was gonna, like, I had to record the videos, upload them at that time. Otherwise, like, there was not gonna be any other like YouTube opportunities and stuff. Like, I was just gonna have to, struggle, work extra harder, do all that other extra stuff. And then like the other option is to go see if my best friend is okay. I think we all know the obvious answer. I'm like, I've been going at YouTube for 10 years. I think I could go at it for 10 more years. But I'm like, you're like somebody that you care about in the hospital. That's something that you don't ever want to hear. So yeah, I was a little scared, even though it was just like a leg cut. I'm like, I'm still scared. I'm all like, that's not. I'm like, stuff like that ain't supposed to happen. But anyways, but yeah, there's that. And then it's just, I had to say that's like one thing about the both of us, is that we are there for each other in a lot of things. She's there for me when it comes to YouTube. I'm there for her, because I remember like around the time we became friends, I remember she was in school. And I was staying up, late at night helping her with school. I'm like, I'm not even in school right now. I'm working. So I'm like, I should be asleep. I should have just been. And this is like I said, around the time when we just like became friends and stuff. So I'm like, I didn't really have to go out of my way to help her, but I did. This is something I'm like, my thing is like, when you have like a feeling about a person, like you have a good feeling about them. Like, there's something about this person where it's like, they're going to have like an impact on my life in the future, which she did, and I'll get to that. But that's when it's like, you have to, whatever like is going on with them, you have to be there for them, even if you don't know nothing about what they're talking about. She was like sending me things. I'm like, no idea, but hey, this is what I would write down. This is what I would do. I was searching up stuff. I was doing whatever I possibly could to help her out. Cause I'm like, when you care about a person and things, I was like, yeah, it's pretty early to like start caring about a person, especially you didn't really know them. But I'm like, when you care about a person, it doesn't matter what they're doing, it doesn't matter what like they're into and things, like help them with it. So that's why I'm like, it could have been anything else. I'm all like, and I still would have had that same energy for it. So yeah, I was like up late at night, like going, like missing out on TV shows and stuff, like making sure she was okay. Cause I'm like, yeah, I would I want to like see you go through school and things with flying colors, which she did. And yeah, that was like one of the things, that was like one of the like happy moments, like from me to her, was seeing her graduate from school. Like, I remember I think same day bought her a gift, rushed all the way from downtown Seattle all the way to where is that place at? Is it in Auburn or Kent? I think it's in Kent. Or maybe it's in Auburn. I don't know. But there's like a stadium like place where she graduated at. And I was like, I'm not missing that for the world. I'm like, those nights staying up helping you out with school, I'm like, a part of me is graduating too. So, but anyways, yeah, that was a happy moment for me. Even though she was the one that was graduating, I was like, nah, I had to be pretty happy about that. But anyways, and then it just seemed like from there, it's just, we always hit it off, and we've always been good friends. And then, like, getting down to like the one thing that sticks out from her is the most amount of support that she shows me with YouTube. Like, because it came to a point in time where I had almost quit. And I remember I had messaged her, and I was like, I didn't need to message her, but I messaged her to let her know. I'm like, because she watches my videos, and so I'm like, hey, like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I remember I told her, I'm like, when I get home, like, I'm quitting YouTube, like, I'm gonna be done. I'm not gonna, after this, like, I was like, after this last video and any other videos I had pre-recorded, I'm like, I'm done, like, I'm not gonna upload anymore. She could have very well just been like, if that's your decision, that's your decision, and supported it. But she told me, like, do not quit YouTube. Like, this is something where I'm like, since day one of me and her, like, talking with each other, and probably because we had been, like, friends on social media, like, prior, before we had, like, started becoming friends and stuff. So she already knew, like, how serious I was about YouTube, how much I posted, how much, like, of everything. She probably most likely had watched my videos prior, before us becoming friends. I don't know. But anyways, she knew how important YouTube was to me. And I knew how important YouTube was to me, and quitting was probably the hardest thing to think of. Like, I remember the day of, I was going to quit. I almost broke down in tears and started crying. And I was like, and that, that was something, I'm like, I did, like, tear up, but I didn't, like, full on was crying, because I was out in public and things. I'm like, I ain't gonna be out in public crying and stuff, and bunch of people coming up to me, like, asking me if I'm okay and stuff. I don't like that attention. So, but no, I was like, I remember I almost broke down in tears and started crying, because I was like, this was something that I didn't want to do. And that's one thing that I'm like, I'm always thankful for and happy for, is that I became friends with her. Like, and it was crazy. I remember the day she messaged me first. And I remember I had almost ignored that message, because I just thought it was somebody trying to get me into a pyramid scheme. You got, like, those friends that you hadn't talked to in years, and then out of nowhere they're all like, hey, so there's this upside down triangle thing that I want to get you involved, where all you just gotta do is give me your social security number and $500. I'm like, I'm okay. So I thought that's what it was when she had messaged me. But it ended up probably being one of the greatest things in my life, was becoming friends with her. So I'm like, yeah, that's something that I'll tell anybody. I'm like, there's not anybody in this world that can replace her, take her spot, nothing. I'm like, you gonna have to do, like, honestly, no, you can't do nothing. There's nothing to do. I'm like, that's like a anchored down spot for her. Like, nobody else ain't taking that spot. But yeah, I remember I told her, and she texted me. It was like, just saying, like, don't quit, like, gave me, like, a speech and everything. And then it was funny, I remember I had looked up, I was wearing those shoes, and if you guys don't know, these are like some Kevin Durant basketball sneakers, but they're like a YouTube edition. So I was wearing these shoes and talking to her at the same time, and I just felt like that, that was a sign. That was a sign from God, just pretty much saying, like, hey, like, keep going at this and things. Like, as much as you're struggling and you might feel like that nobody supports you, like, you have somebody, like, talking to you right now, letting you know, like, how much they support you and things. And yeah, I'm like, that's something, that's just something that you just can't really forget. That's something where I'm like, I've told her that numerous times. I'm like, when YouTube takes off, like, she's definitely going to be, her and her family, it's like, you guys are going to be one of the first people I help out. And she's always saying, like, no, you don't have to. No, you don't have to. But I'm like, it's a done deal. Like, it's something I'm like, I'm not going to get all the way to having, like, millions of subscribers. I'm making all of this money. I'm living out my dream. And I'm doing all of these things, accomplishing all these things. And you think you're not going to be there right beside me, you and your family? I'm like, no, that's one thing that I remember I had a dream about that, but it was like more so me and my family. But I'm like, no, your family is gonna be right there too. But I'm like, I remember I had a dream about being in this, like, like big, like fancy house. And well, it wasn't that big, but it was a fancy looking house. But it had like a swimming pool in the back. And I remember I was like in the dream, like I jumped in the swimming pool and I was just like all smiling and laughing, having fun and stuff. And I'm like, that has to of course like be me and my family. But I'm like, your family has to either be there, present at that swimming pool, or next door or down the street, you know, in your guys' own swimming pool and stuff. But yeah, I'm like, that's the number one thing. If you guys ask me like what keeps you motivated with YouTube, and it's just knowing the fact, I'm like, yeah, of course, like me helping out my family and stuff. But that's one thing for sure. I'm like helping out her family. You know, it's like that's something where you have to do it. It's like, you know, somebody that's been there for you. It's like you gotta be there for them and stuff. So I'm like, definitely. And also they have a painting business. I plan on investing probably a good portion. Well, not like a whole lot, like not all of my money, but like a good portion of some of my money and things into their business. I plan on doing the most for them. Like that's something I'm like, you know, I keep telling myself that every time when I record a video, or every time when I make music, or every time when I just do something like internet related, I'm like, that's like one of the things that crosses my mind. If not, it's like there's some days where it's like the only thing that crosses my mind, where it's like I just like don't feel motivated, or I don't really, you know, like really have the energy to make videos. But I sit down and I start thinking, I'm like, wait a second, hold on. I'm like, what about that one person that's like, you know, pretty much like took you underneath their wing and was making sure like, you know, you continued with your YouTube like goals and dreams and stuff. And yeah, I'm like, that's another thing. I'm like, if honestly, if it wasn't for her that day, like, you know, helping me out, like telling me not to quit YouTube and stuff, you guys wouldn't have been seeing this video or any of like my like most viewed videos or videos that blew up this year, or, you know, just anything. I would have, like, I don't know what I would have been doing, but I know my life would have been miserable. My life would have been very, very miserable if I had quit YouTube. So that's why I'm like, and I really don't know where I would have been at in life right now. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of scary to think about like what your life would have been like if you would have went through with it and stuff. So that's why I'm like, I'm very thankful. It's like, she's definitely, Priscilla, she's definitely a blessing. Like, one of those things where it's like, you know, you don't get it all the time. And I'm like, I think just I'm like, I'm kind of like lost for words. Like, you know, it's just a lot. Like, I can go on and on forever just, you know, talking about her, just talking about just like just a few years we've been friends, but it just seems like it's something that should have been like a lifetime. I'm like, you know, I wish I would have known her when I was like when we were, because we did go to the same high school together. I'm like, I wish I had known her then, middle school, elementary. This is somebody I wish I would have known since like birth. You know, just one of those like childhood friends, like you've known them your whole life. It definitely seemed like you like, if you guys like seen us like out in public, you thought like we would have been friends like since birth and things. But no, it's like only been friends for a few years. But I'm like, few years definitely changed. So I'm like, that's like, yeah, any videos from like 2017 up until now, I'm like, that's all the like motivation behind those videos. That's her. So I feel like you guys, if there's anybody that you should thank, or anybody, you know, that you should just like show like just some like respect like to and things, like when it comes to like me and YouTube, she's definitely somebody that needs to be on that list. And that's another thing I thought of, where it's like kind of like an emotional like part of this video and stuff. I mean, this whole video some might consider it emotional, I don't know, but I know for a fact that if something were to ever happen to me and I wasn't able to make videos anymore, I would want all of you guys to go watch her videos, because I feel like that the same energy that I have in my videos would be the same energy that would be over on her channel. I don't know if like I'm not trying to like make this into like some like promo or no shout out or nothing, but that's just how I feel, and that's something that I thought of a lot, where I'm like, if something were to ever happen to me, just, you know, I don't know what, I just hope and pray that nothing ever happens to me. I hope and pray that I can live out my dreams and stuff with YouTube and just with everything else that I want to provide to the world. But yeah, I think if there were ever something to happen to me, I'm like, I would want you guys to, well, make sure first, like, go check up on her and see if she's okay and stuff. But definitely, you know, the same amount of love and support you guys show me, go like show her that same amount of love and support. So yeah, Priscilla, like, thank you for being a very like just impacting friend in my life. Like I couldn't ask for anybody better. I'm like, there's pretty much, I'm like, and that's like no disrespect to any of my other friends. Like y'all cool too, but I'm like, no, she's definitely been somebody that's like a life coach that you like, that like people should get and things. But yeah, I really do appreciate her, you know, for those wondering and stuff. So thank you, Priscilla, for being a really good friend. I appreciate it. And it was like no special occasion. I was out exercising yesterday and was thinking of doing this video. So yeah, I was like, it wasn't no special occasion. There's no birthday or like, you know, no holiday or whatever and stuff. Like I just wanted to do this video just because. So anyways, but yeah, if you guys is wondering, she does have a YouTube channel, 4 Souls, her and her siblings. Y'all should go check it out. Y'all should go show it some love and support. I did say go for it. I made a couple of videos on it before saying like the goal for next year is to get them to 1,000 subscribers. But if we could do it before this year ends, that would be cool too. So yeah, go subscribe to them if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.